Good morning everyone, or whatever time of day that it is when you're watching this video. I hope you're having a lovely day. My name is Robyn and I have a little cat running around, so Shadow's going to be my helper today. It is the morning, currently it's about 8:20 and I have a day off of work today, and I wanted to come outside, get some fresh air, listen to the beautiful cicadas that are around again and basically make a green smoothie this morning. I think in a lot of my videos I talk about Danny from Happy Farms, but she's just honestly such an inspiration to me, and she makes some of the most delicious green smoothies. So she has inspired me today to go around my garden and collect a few different greens that I can use in my breakfast. There's going to be a little bit of a twist to today, and that is that I'm actually going to be trying some greens that are edible that I haven't yet tried in my garden. And some of these greens are probably some of the things that you will be growing in your garden as well, that you might not know is actually edible. So I have a little bowl and some scissors, and I'm going to take you around the garden and share with you what greens I'm going to be picking. So I'll start with some of the more kind of normal ones that I talk about in my videos quite a lot. The first one that I'm going to be adding to the green smoothie as one of the greens is warrigal greens. It's also known as New Zealand spinach, and it is native to a lot of different areas in Australia. It grows really well in southeast Queensland, so if you haven't tried growing it before, I would highly recommend it. I haven't sown any of these seeds in this pot for years, and I keep on getting the spinach back because it self-seeds really easily, and it is such a gorgeous spinach to add to different curries or anything that you add normal English spinach into, and smoothies as well. With the larger leaves, I do recommend that you do blanch them before you eat them. They do have oxalates in them, like a lot of leafy greens do, and it's always a good idea to just give them a little bit of a blanch before you eat them, just in some boiling water, and that takes out all of those kind of more harmful oxalates out of the leaf. It's also a really awesome idea to then use the water that you use to blanch them as a fertilizer for your garden, and put it on other different leafy greens and your vegetable garden, and it will definitely really like that addition. So for my smoothie, I'm going to be taking the smaller leaves that I'm not too worried about the harmful oxalates in them because they haven't grown really large and developed those kind of chemical properties yet. So I'm going to be picking some of the smaller leaves. Warrigal greens is such an easy plant to propagate as well. You can take cuttings for it, and the seeds are really easy to germinate. It likes kind of a free, well-draining soil. So I have it in these raised beds here, just in some good quality potting mix. But if you are starting out the plant from scratch, you can mix in a little bit of sand with your potting mix, and that'll just make the mixture a little bit more free draining. And that means that the water can just move through the soil a little bit easier so that the roots can get through and maintain all of the nutrients that the plant needs. It's also just really awesome to eat everything that grows really naturally around your area. I always talk about in my videos the importance of understanding your microclimate and what plants are suited to your microclimate. These ones for here, for southeast Queensland and majority of the eastern coast of Australia, this will grow really well. Another plant that I am going to be adding into my smoothie for some of its greens is this one here. This is called Brazilian spinach. This is the first time that I'm actually going to be trying out this spinach because I recently got given it as a gift, and I am super excited to have this plant in my little collection. It propagates really easily. You can just take one of the stalks here, pull off the lower leaves and then plant it in the ground, and you'll have another full plant from it. It's a really great plant for ground covers or under kind of a food forest area. It's really drought tolerant as well and can handle poor soils as well. All around, it really looks like something that kind of you would grow in like a rainforest, that it would need a lot of nutrients and water, but it's a little bit more kind of succulenty and can handle harsh weather, and yeah, it's growing really easy. It's doubled in size since I've had it, and I'm excited to give this a go in my smoothie as well. Let me know if you have tried any of these plants that I talk about in the comments below. I really love talking to you, and also do give the video a like if you like seeing this kind of content and seeing what you can actually do with these plants and how you can eat them. I'm going to head down to a different area of the garden now and pick some a little bit different plants that I guarantee you wouldn't know that all of these are edible. But if you do, definitely let me know. You gonna come and help, Shadow? Come on. So I can guarantee that most gardeners have a little bit of a wild area in the garden, and I am currently in the little wild area in my garden. Basically, this area here, there was a little bit of fresh compost that was kind of laid out around this area, and mainly to feed the fruit trees behind us. So I've got some citrus down there that we basically use the compost to feed the plants, and from that compost then sprouted a lot of other different plants, which are some of my favorite plants in the garden, is the things that come from the compost. In this little patch here, we have some pumpkins, some sweet potatoes, some rock melons growing, and also in this area, it's a little bit cleared as well. So there are quite a few weeds in this area. So what am I going to add to my smoothie from this little wild area? Up until recently, I didn't realize that pumpkin leaves were actually edible. The whole plant of the pumpkin is edible, including all of the leaves, all of the fruit, the flowers, everything. I have been a little bit scared to try them, I must admit, mainly because of all of the spiky parts on the leaves. But today I am going to pick some and I'm going to add it to my smoothie. Maura Gamble has an awesome video, and quite a few videos actually, on how to eat pumpkin leaves and what you can do with them. She has just an amazing channel in itself, all things permaculture, and so much knowledge. So from her I got this idea to pick some of my pumpkin leaves and add it to my smoothie. She does suggest to pick the younger fresh shoots, and these ones here I just had a feel before, they don't actually have some of those annoying little spikes that the larger leaves do. So I'm going to pick some of those, just a little bit, and I'm going to add them to the smoothie as well. And I'm also going to pick some sweet potato leaves as well, because they are an edible, and I have tried sweet potato leaves before and put them in quite a lot of different dishes. They have a really mild flavour, but they are packed with nutrients as well. So I'm going to pick some of those. The last little green that I'm going to be experimenting today with is called purslane. The backyard is filled with purslane. In the process of trying to transform the garden a little bit, and purslane has popped up everywhere. It's quite hard to get rid of, but the good thing is that it is edible. I have yet to try it actually, so I'm going to be trying it. So purslane is also considered a weed, and if you are foraging for weeds, which is perfectly fine, and I would definitely recommend doing that, just know the area where you're choosing to forage your weeds from. And that's just because some areas might have been recently sprayed that you don't know about, and you really don't want to be ingesting a lot of the heavy duty pesticides and herbicides that are out there. It's also not a great idea to forage around kind of roadsides or drain pipes or anywhere where you're getting a lot of water runoff. There's the risk that there's heavy metal buildup in the area, so you want a little bit more of a natural area if you are going to be foraging for weeds. It's also a great idea, if you are worried about any of those factors, to kind of just go foraging after it has rained for a little bit, in the hope that the rain can wash off some of those herbicides and pesticides before you ingest the material. But I would only be foraging for weeds if you are 110% sure of what you're eating. Right, so I have my little bowl of greens here, and I'm going to head up and make my smoothie. come out on the balcony and do a bit of a taste test. So I have a massive smoothie here. I really don't have a full recipe on smoothies. I usually use what I have in the fridge, and usually that's what is ever is in season, because we get our food box from Food Connect. So a lot of the fruit and vegetables in there are going to be what's growing around this area. So yeah, just gonna give it a try. Tastes like a beautiful organic garden. It definitely tastes green, which is good because I did put greens in there, but it's pretty nice. And I'm going to be continuing expanding my horizons on what I am eating from the garden and making use of all of the plants that are growing down there. So let me know if you eat any part of the plants or any plant in your garden that people wouldn't really consider edible, but it is edible. Again, a lot of these foods from your garden and leaves and things like that are all best eaten in moderation. And that goes for anything. If you're going to be just eating pumpkin leaves, you're probably not going to feel great. Same as if you're eating just pears or apples in a day. You need a good diversity, and eating whatever you're growing in the garden, of course that is edible, is super important for your overall health. So you're getting all of these different nutrients that are naturally kind of native to your surroundings and your area, and that's got to be good for you, right? But also there's so many different vitamins and minerals in here that I'm getting just from putting in a handful of greens that I have in my garden. So I challenge you to make a weedy / random green smoothie and let me know what you think. And I hope this video inspired you to just go out into your garden and start consuming some of the things that you're growing. You don't always have to wait until they are at, perfect size or perfect color or weight. The main thing is that we're actually eating what we're growing, which is something that I am definitely trying to do this year in this garden. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my smoothie, enjoy the beautiful little crickets around, and I think we're hopefully going to get some more rain today, which has been lovely. I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next video, happy gardening.